Hello angels, welcome back to my channel. Before I start this video, if you would like to reach me personally or you just need a friend to talk to, you can find me at savray.store. The link will also be in the description below to make your life a little bit easier. With that being said, let's jump into today's video. So what I really want to talk about today is leverage. Following my video yesterday talking about change and why it's necessary and unavoidable, leverage comes before that change. We can want to change all we want, but what is going to push us to make that change? What leverage is a greater consequence for not changing. And leverage will happen regardless. The only difference is either you're going to pick your own leverage or life's gonna do it for you. So we can take back our power by choosing our own leverage before life does it for us. Because usually when life gets a grip on the leverage, shit hits the fan. We don't wanna wait until it becomes bad enough to make a change in ourselves. You will reach a point in every cycle of your life where you know you need to make a change and you know what that change is. You're just afraid that it either won't work or you're gonna fail and you're gonna go back to where you were. Which, hey, if that's the worst case scenario, good. The only thing that could be different is you either go right back to where you were or you get better. When life grabs the reins of leverage, some people will use it as an excuse to fall back into bad habits, and they'll just use it as an excuse to continue their bad behavior, which ultimately doesn't end well for you either, because all you're doing is hurting yourself. That leverage is going to keep getting worse and it's going to get heavier. So instead of using leverage as an excuse to feel pity and feel sorry for yourself and not change, what we need to do is we need to create it before life comes in and beats it into us that we need to change, because hello, we're meant to evolve. We want to use it as motivation instead of an excuse. The only reason why we don't change is because we link change to pain. And this is something Tony Robbins says. He's a really cool coach that guided me to understand my nervous system a little bit more, and I'm gonna share that knowledge with you. So if you haven't heard of him, I would really look into him, and if you're into reading, give his books a shot. I like to listen to him because of the way he speaks. I do recommend Tony Robbins 100%. But he says this idea about leverage and about change. He says that the only reason we don't change is because we link it to pain within our nervous system because of past events and whatnot, and our definition of change. So in order to change that within us, we need to begin to link change to pleasure. We need to create the for change. To look into ideas about that, you should check out my last video that talks about changing your negative assumptions into positive assumptions. Another tip I would give you is we need to identify our triggers when they arise. This will sound a little tricky because when we're triggered, we have really intense emotions, right? So instead of responding with action, because usually, we rush to defend ourselves or we get all hot and boiled about whatever it is that's triggering us, or we get sad, whatever the emotion may be, we need to try to respond to it by not responding. So just by breathing. When you're triggered, take a deep breath. And I know it sounds cliche, like you've heard this when you were younger, whatever, and you might say it doesn't work, but it really does work. If you just focus on your breathing, literally the one thing that you have to do to live, you are gonna be just fine, I promise. And then we condition that thought to not affect us as much, because when you react to it, and then the next time you feel that trigger or that emotion, you're gonna react kind of the same way that you last reacted to it. And it's just only going to dig a deeper hole of that emotion, which is what we want to avoid if we want to manifest. So the idea with leverage is that change is never a matter of ability, which means I want to change, but I can't, or I don't have the right resources, or I'm not in the right place of my life in order to change. It is whether or not we are motivated enough to do it. And I know that sounds a little harsh, but That's like the secret to change, pushing yourself to do it. And if you don't know how to feel motivated, or you want to but you say you can't, think about yourself after you've manifested your desires. How would they feel? Would that version of you have motivation? Would that version of you do whatever it takes to stay in the best place of your life at all times because you have more to lose? Or would you just be under the illusion that you have more to lose? Because everything that we desire, all the things we're trying to manifest into the physical reality, already exist within our 5D. They exist in our spiritual realm. We create all of those things in our head. So it had to exist here before it can exist here, right? And you know why you feel like you in the future will have more motivation and will do whatever it takes to keep your manifestations? Is because you could all along. And if you don't believe me, then how come you just felt it? You just felt what it felt like to have all of your manifestations and to have all the motivation in the world. Do not tell me I'm wrong. I know you do. You felt it for a second there. You know exactly how it felt. So I need you to hold on to that feeling. And I need you to remember that it is inside of you at all times. You don't need that thing to feel it. But that's exactly what's going to bring that thing. You catch my drift? You have the keys. It's not about picking the right keys or the right door. It's about actually turning the knob and opening the door. Because you're going to know exactly what key to use and what door to walk through. All you have to do, all you are expected to do is open the door and walk through it. Okay? Please leave a like if this video helped you in any way, and subscribe to come back and hang out with me and hear more of what goes on in my head. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, what your thoughts are. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you